Welcome to Tri-Cities Community Television. It's Patrick McCarthy. We're here in our Fountainhead Studios on Westwood Drive in Port Coquitlam. And today we have Vanessa Wiedeski and Van Tatango. And they're part of the Low Entropy group. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I was actually kind of intrigued. I knew nothing about your group, and then spent some time when we sort of talked beforehand to learn a bit about it. So for folks out there, can you explain what low entropy is and what it's all about?
Absolutely. Entropy is the measurement of disorder and chaos, and we want to reduce the entropy in our social system. And that looks like creating a social system where people work together, support one another, and care about each other. So that's why we call ourselves Low Entropy.
And you've been around for a while, like at least 7 years. So it's not. And so when you say low entropy, what is the real focus of that group? Like what are you really trying to address in our community?
Of bringing cultures together, having a multicultural society. Yeah.
You always think Canada, right? And we sort of see ourselves as multiculturalists, I guess. I'm playing with the words, but and the world thinks we're multicultural. But I think if you look at some of the events around the city, I think we're inclusive, but we seem to have specific, sort of cultures having their own festivals. So is that kind of where Low Entropy fits in?
Yeah, we really want to bring everyone together to celebrate our diversity and recognize all of our unique gifts, that we all have gifts and talents to share with one another, and that we can actually really learn from each other. So what we're trying to address with the work that we're doing is the root cause of all the dysfunction and chaos that we see in the world today. And we have identified the root cause of all the chaos to be us, we the people, humanity, the choices that we make. What we see in the world today is a reflection of all the choices that we've made. And so if we can support everyone on an individual level to become the best version of themselves, to be people who are responsible and accountable for how they show up in the world, then that's how we feel we'll change the world, by doing so one person at a time through personal development and growth.
Yeah, and you just you have your annual event. You just finished one recently, and you had, well, I guess 500 people show up. So what was the event about, and what did people experience when they went to the event?
Well, we had different types of performances. We had opera, we had the Cantonese opera there, we had a Persian musician, we had indigenous performances, Scotland dancers, and we had Polynesian dancers. So in that 4 hours, you were able to come and see all these performances for free. It was free to the public. And there were vendors, local vendors, and it's always good to support your local vendors. And we also had food trucks. And so it was a nice morning / afternoon of bringing the community together.
So if I wanted to get involved in Low Entropy, like obviously you have the website, lowentropy.org, but I can go there and check that out. But just what would I be doing, and how do I get involved?
Well, there's several things you could do. You can be a volunteer, which is one, and they have the youth group. They have a group that gives back to the community, which is the Share group, and they also have a group that has events for seniors on a monthly basis. If you are a high school student and you need volunteer hours, you can apply online for that, and then they can give you some kind of form saying to give to your school that you did do the hours. We're always looking for sponsors and donations for our events. If you would like to promote your business, then you can be a sponsor at our next event.
That CARE program sounds very interesting. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Absolutely. The CARE program is all about addressing the root cause of food insecurity. So not only do we help families in need by giving them food that they can feed their families with, we deliver weekly hampers, but we also support them by offering weekly friendly phone calls through trained volunteers that are community connectors. So those volunteers reach out to them, they build friendships and relationships with those families, and then uncover what's really going on. Because food insecurity is just a symptom of something else that's happening in that family dynamic. So we reach out to them and connect with them and offer them resources to help with that root cause.
So how do people help out with the CARE program?
So we need community connector volunteers, we need drivers, we need people to come and make the hampers, and we need space. Like if there's any businesses out there that would be willing to donate space so we can have volunteers make these hampers, that'd be great, because we right now space is limited for us.
Right. So you're just looking for a temporary space to kind of build the hampers and then leave
Exactly.
every month, every week?
Once a week.
Once a week. Right. And how many hampers would you make?
50 families, and some families get 3 hampers, depends on the size of the family.
Yeah. And then how many people are working do you need to help with the hampers?
We usually have in there about, I think, 8 people are in there packing the hampers, and then 10 drivers. Each driver gets 5 families.
And so on the financial side, can I donate just money or food? I can provide
Money
that?
and food and time.
Time.
Time, talent, and treasure.
I like that. Triple T. Yeah, it sounds like you're doing lots more than just your annual event. You're doing lots of things through the year. It sounds like. Yeah.
And it's a great way to make new friends. And some people, they're shy. They don't like to go out, and you know how you've got all these apps and you make friends through these apps. But if you actually want human connection, you can go to one of these events and meet the Low Entropy people.
Well, it sounds like I know you were there from the beginning. So when you started the process, so how do you see it now with more people becoming involved?
So when you talk about friends, it's funny because that is how I met a lot of my friends. Was I moved from North Delta over to Tri-Cities, and I didn't know anybody, and so I started a group called Conscious Connections, and it was for people to come together and have deep, meaningful conversations.
And there's no judgment.
And judgment-free, safe space where we could really support one another and accept each other. And from there, I met so many wonderful people. And it was the people that I met in that space that then later became the people who sat on our board of directors when we first started. And after a few years and it growing to the level of which my friends were like, oh, it's too big now. Like, we just wanted to have fun and do this thing. We didn't know it was going to go this far and wide. And so we then recruited new board members. So we recently had a new board of directors join last year. And now our board is 12 people that have experience and are helping to take us even further.
Yeah. And Van, how did you get involved?
I wanted to go through a career change. It was during COVID, so I kind of work back then wasn't at much. So I went back to school for event planning, and how do I get out there? I didn't know how to get out there, and so I met with Low Entropy, and I did some volunteer work with them, and they're wonderful. Like, they're very encouraging. They always have a smile on their face, and every time I spoke with Vanessa, I felt motivated to continue what I was doing in terms of events. So that's how I got involved.
Is there anything that you, outside of supporting the group, by volunteering, networking, funding, of course, is there anything else out there that you would like to let people know about Low Entropy?
We're always looking at new ideas and community needs. Like, what are the gaps within the community and how can we support people with those gaps? We're very versatile. And I would say that we're out of the box thinkers. So if we see something that's not working, we don't keep trying to do it over and over again. We'll try new ways and new approaches. And every new approach, if it isn't successful, we learn from it and we grow, and we see that actually as a success, because now we can try something different. And so we are looking for people who have great ideas, and we're a fertile ground for those ideas to grow, to try new things, and to meet other people who are excited about accessing and exercising your creativity. So we're looking for creative minds.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like your event was very artistic. So you had a lot of dance and from different cultures. So it sounds like you're almost an arts group that is using the multicultural sort of goal to kind of achieve what you need to do. So.
Absolutely, yeah, that is one of the avenues. We recently started an art therapy program for youth at risk, and so you're looking for art therapists too to join that.
So how do you see the future?
You know, our vision, like if you're talking big picture, and it might sound lofty, but it is. It's a kind, caring, compassionate world where we connect with each other, where we wave at each other, we smile at each other, we make eye contact, we help each other, we know our neighbors. You know, it's a world where we support and we give to each other. And it's a world where we don't always think about, hey, what's in it for me? What can I get? But instead it's, what can I give? What can I provide? How can I help? So it's helping to shift that mentality so that we're all givers and we're all change makers.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming in. I definitely will sign up for the website and get the emails. So if you're a multicultural group in the Tri-Cities region and never heard of Low Entropy, you may want to check out their website. And at the same time, see where it's possible to support them, either as a volunteer or some financial support, either as an individual or business. This is Patrick McCarthy reporting with Tri-Cities Community Television. Thanks for watching. That was great. Thanks for coming.
Tri-Cities Community TV presents edited highlights of the Multicultural Connections Festival presented by Low Entropy.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Welcome. It's nice to see you. Let's hear if there's anyone out there. Good morning, everyone.
Woo! Yeah,
There we go. Welcome to our inaugural Multicultural Connections Festival. I'm Darren Collius. I'll be one of the hosts today.
And I'm Vanessa Wadowski. I'll also be a host along with our amazing team at Low Entropy. These are all our volunteers. If anybody needs any help throughout the day, come and talk to one of us in these t-shirts and we will help you. We've got a great team here that wants to support this multicultural event and moving forward, not just for this year. I think the best way to start off today is by welcoming our beautiful elder from Coquitlam First Nations to do a land acknowledgement for us. So Elder Maria, please welcome her.
Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are meeting today on the traditional territories of the Coquitlam First Nation. We thank the Coquitlam for allowing us to meet and learn together on their territory. Good morning. My name is Elder Marie Hooper. I am Coast Salish and I reside on the Coquitlam First Nations land. This is my granddaughter, Madison. She is 6 years old, and she is also Coast Salish. I'd like to welcome our Coquitlam Chief Ed Hall, dignitaries, Council of the Tri-Cities, Mayor Richard Stewart. Today, this is a beautiful multicultural festival, Low Entropy Foundation as host. My background, I was born in England. My ancestors are from Scotland, Portugal, England, and French in the 1400s. I am of First Nations descent. Our language is Hunkamalum. Artifact recovery suggests that our territory is approximately between 10 and 14,000 years old. How long we have occupied these lands. We are a hunting village making cedar hats, baskets, moccasins, regalia, wood carvings. One of our elders will be teaching us carved silver, engraved bracelets and jewelry, which he sells worldwide. We have dance, song, drumming, powwows out in the Tri-Cities, many other areas of our territory. Multiculturalism is important to make Canada a welcome, healthier, happier, cohesive Canada, bringing all of us together, not dividing. Respect ourselves, respect one another's culture. Personal empowerment, support one another, humanity, caring for our global families that are here in Canada. We love compassion, understanding, being humble, reaching out to one another, to learn, to teach, to educate all of our unique cultures. Learn my language and I will learn yours. Make meaningful, life-lasting relationships with one another. Reach out in friendship, volunteer, attend, be a part of our many diverse festivals. Enjoy the events planned for us here today at Lafarge Lake. Home to me, home to all that are here today. Be considerate, reach out to one another, be humble. Only then can we communicate better. Be in harmony, travel our brilliant, beautiful, vast lands here in Canada, taking its beauty of the lands, forests, and waters. Heichka, thank you.
Thank you, Elder Maria. Next, I'd like to welcome Chief Ed Hall from the Coquitlam First Nation.
Thank you, Vanessa, for that introduction. I would like to share a little bit of endangered Hunkaminam language as I introduce myself and the area that we are at. There's only 123 of us in our First Nation, and we are located here out in Vancouver, over in Alberta, Washington State, Colorado, state of Georgia, and state of Florida, and potentially over in the British Isles working on it. And so there is no fluent speakers of it. There's a few of us that are learners of the language. It's going to be a long-going process. I was actually involved in it on the language revitalization just 7 years ago, and I've only gotten 1 year of university level for it so far. But I'll share some translations there, and then I'll give you, the English version of it. I swale, Iasapoil, CM Skapelam, and Hall Tunisqui, Talitznat, Quiquoquam, mission Skawats Tomox, Osiem Tasietst Eatonalston, Machnetin Amisa, Quaquilam, Tunish, Quiquoquam, Tomox. Good day, how are you all? Ed Hall is my English given name, and elected chief of the Coquitlam First Nation, and I've given you a welcome that went like honored friends, relatives, and visitors. Welcome to the ancestral unceded lands of the Coquitlam people, shared by many, past, present, and going into the future. I want to make some acknowledgements here. I want to acknowledge the presence of City of Coquitlam Mayor Richard Stewart, one of his council members, Terry Towner, and any others I have not seen that you're here, so pardon me if I've missed you. And I want to thank the Low Entropy Foundation for reaching out to the nation there to ask a couple of us to come out and share some words and greetings with you. And I want to acknowledge all that they do, the services they provide here in the Tri-Cities and even further out. It's such a wonderful service to help people in parts of their journeys on a day-to-day, and I actually really appreciate these kinds of nonprofit organizations and foundations that really do a lot for the people, the good citizens of the area, whether they've been here lifelong residents or they're new to the area. So I do want to acknowledge everybody that is here. I want to be able to say thank you all for coming out and allowing me to share a few of words with you, and I will look forward to maybe connecting with a few of you while I'm going to be here until about maybe 12 or so, and then I have another engagement in my community that I have to go and co-host, and so I will thank you very much. I say hi Sapka, thank you all.
Thank you, Chief Ed Hall. And next to the stage, I would like to bring up our steward here in our mayor here in Coquitlam, Mr. Richard Stewart, to the stage, please.
Thank you, Vanessa. It's Stewart with a T, Stewart is a D, and I hope I'm both. To all of you who've come out here today, I thank you for joining us at what I hope will be, and I expect will be, a tremendous celebration of the diversity of our community. I particularly thank Marie, Elder Marie, and Chief Ed Hall, are friends of mine, and it is truly an honor to be able to join with you both at this kind of an event, and your welcome was very meaningful. I also acknowledge Councillor Terry Towner, City Councillor, a colleague of mine, but all of Council joins with me today in acknowledging this great event. Terry actually works with a lot of our newcomer community. She is the Executive Director of the Tri-Cities Friends of Refugees. There's so many folks that come to Coquitlam and have decided to call Coquitlam home and have been welcomed here. That is our strength. Our strength really is, and Marie said it, our strength is that people from around the world have come here to demonstrate that people from around the world can live here together and can truly celebrate what makes us different as much as what makes us the same. All of my life, I've lived in Coquitlam. Coquitlam, when I was growing up, was much less diverse. At the time, we knew the Coquitlam First Nation, but we didn't know them as well as we do today, and we thank them for their help. We have much to unlearn as those people who grew up in European communities, predominantly European communities here in North America. We have so much to unlearn and so much to learn. This last year has been a real journey for me and for so many in our community who are trying to explore what Indigenous realities we need to better understand. So I truly thank them for welcoming us here to a multicultural festival. Thank you. As I said, Coquitlam embraces the world, and truly so many different languages that are spoken here, so many cultures that are celebrated here, so much delicious food from around the world. Yes, I'll talk about the food. It truly is something that I cherish now in a community that has become more multicultural and more celebratory of diversity, inclusion, and respect. Not just tolerance. When I first got elected, tolerance was in the city's multicultural policy. The word tolerance. We wanted to tolerate, and which obviously is not correct. We want to celebrate with our multicultural community, with our Indigenous community, our friends from here and our friends from afar. And today we're going to do that. So on behalf of Coquitlam City Council, sorry for talking too long, but I want to thank Low Entropy. I want to truly thank all of the people who are here, all of the participants. These things don't happen without volunteers, so when you see a volunteer, thank them as well. On behalf of Coquitlam City Council, thank you all for being here.
And next we have, welcoming to the stage, MLA Selena Robinson, Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Vanessa. In my culture, in Jewish culture, we say Brachim Habayim. Can everyone say that? Brachim Habayim. And that means welcome. And so it's really a pleasure to see all of you here. And I want to thank Low Entropy Foundation, Vanessa, and all the volunteers for really bringing us together in unity and in common understanding. And I also want to acknowledge that we are in the traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples, in particular the Coquitlam First Nation, who have been here since time immemorial, and had a chance to see Chief Ed Hall here from the Coquitlam Nation, and thank him again for continuing to welcome us here on their traditional territory. I bring you greetings on behalf of John Horgan and the government of British Columbia, and it really is a pleasure to see all of you here today as we celebrate what is truly a fabulous province our multicultural existence, and celebrating it all together. So again, thank you for coming out. Thank you to Low Entropy for hosting all of us, and to all the performers who are helping to bring us all together today. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Amazing. Thank you, Selena.
So without further ado, let's introduce our first performers of the day, the Vancouver Cantonese Opera. Welcome, and here we go.
All right.
Hello. Hi. My name is Rosa Chang. I'm the founder and artistic director of the Vancouver Cantonese Opera, and we founded in year 2000, so it's 22 years ago. So our first performer here is so Maria Lim. How do I? So Maria is going to sing a very short aria. It's only about 2.5 minutes. It's called The Red Candle's Tears. Maria. Thank you, Maria. This was excellent. So the next program is I'm going to do a water sleeve dance. So you'll wonder, what is water sleeve? Is it made of water? No. So this is my water sleeve. And this is one of the basic technique we have to learn when we are learning as a performer. And the water sleeve, why we say it's a water sleeve? Because it's very fluid. And also we use our sleeve to express our emotion on stage. So if I'm happy, if I'm angry with this gentleman here, how do I express my anger? Do I go and slap him? No, but I will do it like this. Or this. So this is how we express our anger. But if I say, oh, the scenery is so beautiful, how do I express that? I will do it like this. And also say, if I see a handsome guy like a gentleman there, but in the olden day, the women in the Chinese communities, they're not supposed to step out of their bedroom, not even go into their garden. But once in a while, they will be accompanied by the maid to go to some festival like this one. But of course, are not supposed to stare at young, handsome guy like this guy, right? So what does she do? So she will do this. See, that's the way they express themselves in olden days. So you have to remember, when you go to see a Chinese opera, they are telling a story that years ago. So they will be, the lady are supposed to be very graceful, and they don't look at you, they will just peek at you if they find you handsome. So that's how but like the dance I'm going to show you is the basic technique of the dance, so you will see different gesture of the water sleeve. Okay.
And keeping with the theme, we're going to move into our next performers. The next performers are from the Vancouver City Opera.
Good morning, afternoon. My name is Luca Kawabata, and this is Roger Parton on piano. That was the Toreador song from Bizet's Carmen, and I'm very excited to introduce my friend and colleague, Catherine Thornsley, to the stage.
Oh, he's a little taller than me. Hi, everyone. My name is Catherine Thornsley. I'm super excited to be here singing for you today. I am singing a piece called Vici d'arte, which if you're familiar with opera, it's actually quite a popular one, but if you're not, it's a beautiful piece. And in this piece, the main character is talking. It's a very quiet piece where she's talking to God, actually, and asking why her circumstances have been given to her, because she's in a pretty tight situation. So that's just a little background for you. I hope you enjoy.
Wonderful. Let's keep it going for the Vancouver City Opera, our performers from there. Absolutely wonderful. So now for something completely different. We're going to continue with the theme of things that Darren can't do. And we're going to bring on a shot of scotch.
How are you doing out there? Staying dry? My name is Susan Nace, and I'm the Artistic Director of Shot of Scotch Vancouver. And we're so excited to be here. We are a performance company of Scottish Highland dancers, and we've got a set of dances here to share with you, to share a little bit of our love of Highland dancing and Scottish culture in this amazing multicultural event today on this beautiful day out here in Coquitlam. So we're going to start things off with a dance that's called the Village Maid. Now, Highland dancing is generally done as an individual dance form. You might see it at competitions or even here at the BC Highland Games, which takes place exactly in this park once a year in June. But we like to remix things a little and change it up for dances to be done in groups. So this dance is a traditional dance, but this is our Shot of Scotch version of it, the Village Maid. We're going to take things again to the traditional, but we're going to bring out some of our swords. Now, Highland dancing was a dance form that was done by Scottish soldiers, Scottish warriors. So you'll notice a lot of strength. There's actions and poses that depict strength and agility and fierceness in our dancing. And one of the most traditional and well-known of Highland dances is the sword dance. Now, normally, a sword dance would be danced with 2 swords and 1 dancer. But these dancers have been dancing for most of their lives. They are professionals, and we like to make things a little extra challenging for them. So we have 2 dancers dancing over 1 set of swords, which will make things doubly challenging. Now, there are a lot of legends that go with our dances that talk about Scottish history, and the Scottish history in particular referring to the warriors and to the battles that the Scots would get into with the English in particular. And it was said that if someone was to dance a sword dance the night before battle, if they managed to dance the sword dance without touching the swords, it was a good sign that they would do well in battle. But if they unfortunately touched the swords or perhaps kicked the swords, they might be injured or even killed. Now, the good news is we are not going to battle today, so regardless of the outcome, we are going to be okay. But I think our girls can make it around with their doubly challenging Lochaber sword without touching the sword. Let's see. Give them a big round of applause for the Lochaber sword.
an easy dance to do.
This next performer is Jane Wiley. She's a hoop dancer and jingle dancer. So we'll be introducing her. We'll bring up her father John to explain what's happening. And here is Jane Wiley, and here is her father John.
Hello. Canoe John Hegan. My daughter's from Haida Nations. I'd also like to just thank the Coquitlam people for having us on their territory so we can perform. The first dance she's going to be doing is a hoop dance. The hoop represents the never-ending cycle of life. There's no beginning and there is no ending. And this is a firm belief in the Native people. y'all doing today? We're having a great multicultural day? Listen, the next, she's just going to switch regalia, as we don't call these costumes, this is our regalia. Can we all say regalia? Regalia. Ripping. All right, so the next one is she's going to be doing a jingle dance. And I'd like to thank all the sponsors and everybody for allowing us to come out and do this. And I hope this carries on for many more years. And we'd love to be welcome back next year.
Thank you, Jane. Jane Wiley, everybody. That was incredible.